on, everybody? It's Kyle from Smacked Raw with RN. Welcome to the Rewind. What's going on?
Not much, boss man. How you doing?
Oh, man, fantastic, RN. I woke up way too early this morning, drank some coffee, went out, did some shopping, but most importantly, I stopped by Waffle House. And
Yes.
you start your day off with Waffle House. I'll tell you right now, you're either starting it right or you're ruining it from the start. It just depends on how well you can handle their food.
Well, first of all, you shut your dirty mouth. Well, you're never ruining anything with Waffle House. You're either starting your day off right or you're ending your night right.
That's true. That is very true.
That's the only two options.
I've in my younger years, I've definitely had some 2 a.m. inebriated visits to the local Waffle House. Hell, most of the staff was pretty drunk when I went too.
If you pull up at Waffle House and the cook isn't smoking a cigarette outside, I'm not eating there.
Oh man, RN, how was your week, man?
It was actually pretty good. We joined this holiday tournament with my football team. We combined with another school here around us. We did pretty good the first day. Like yesterday, we were just trounced, but I mean, it was raining and snowing at the same time. It was literally a fucking pond in the middle of the field we were playing in. Like, I wish I could get mad at the boys for like just not wanting to be there and quitting, but I felt the same damn way. So we definitely hauled ass out of there after we lost and kept it moving.
That's right, man. Hey, just keep that grind going, man. I don't think anything major happened with me over the week. Watched some UFC. We watched Full Gear on Saturday. We'll talk about that. Nothing too crazy. Been a pretty calm week. Trying to get bills caught up. All that not fun aspects of adult life we get into.
Get ready for Christmas.
Yeah, man. Hey, before we get too crazy into this, I just want to let you guys know that me and RN, man, we do the show every week, and we really appreciate you guys. As you know, trying to build our Twitch channel, please head on over to twitch.tv/SmackedRaw and give us a follow. We're really trying to build up the live stream aspect of our show. I love interacting with people in the chat at all times. And speaking of which, JJ just appeared in the chat. Love JJ. How you doing, girl? She says, afternoon, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, so please give us a follow because that's one thing that we're working on. At the same time, for those that watch the live stream, give us a subscription over on YouTube, youtube.com/SmackedRawPodcast. Really trying to build those platforms up. Now, there's going to be additional content being offered here on Twitch. I've been testing out streaming in VR, and it's been fun. I got to say, the most awkward part is I can't load the chat in my headset.
Right.
So if you're ever watching me, you'll see me like have to like take the headset, dip it up, look at my phone to see if anyone's chatting with me before I get back into it. I've been playing poker, but I got a couple other games I'm going to try. But yeah, following us on Twitch and subscribing to us on YouTube is fantastic, man. We really appreciate it. With that being said, I feel like it's important to address the listeners that, you know, I should ask you.
Right.
We've been a recap show ever since inception.
Right.
Lately, trying to watch and recap. How many shows a week, man? Like 3, 4, 5 shows every week.
At least 5.
Yeah, man. Yeah, at least 5 minimum. I don't think it translates our passion for professional wrestling well. And in turn, maybe it's not something that translates to the listeners as well. And so I think it's time to take a break from the recap format of just trying to update Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, NXT, Rampage, every week. And instead, try to talk about either talking points, news, and of course, if any big wrestling angles and story beats or matches happen that we really like, I would love to bring that up too. But
for me, honestly, we've been doing that the last couple weeks anyway, so it's not like
that's why I said it shouldn't come to much of a surprise.
We're not changing the format, really. We're just making an official change.
Yeah, and I think where yours and my passion translates well is our opinions. Is when something happens, then we have our thoughts on it. I think that shows a better light out of us than just running down story beats every week, running down same matches. I think we can still keep promo of the week and match of the week in here because it's not like we're gonna stop watching wrestling,
right?
So I think this format is going to be a little bit better. So today, for that matter, what we have lined up is RN and I are going to give our thoughts on, of course, AEW's Full Gear. On our show's Twitter page, I put out a question earlier in the week. Why do people still watch Raw? Not meant as a dig, but I like to hear the reasoning, considering Raw is the most criticized wrestling show every week. So what has everybody still tuning in? And I love the answers we got. BamaDave gave a couple good suggestions for us. What we believe the future is of Tommaso Champa and Johnny Gargano in NXT 2.0, given that they kind of stand out at this point.
Like sore thumb.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost my place in my notes here. Oh yeah. Is Kevin Owens really a heel? I think that's a good topic. Undisputed Era in AEW, how would that work? And then Bamo really wants to know, is Drew McIntyre the only true challenger for Roman Reigns on SmackDown? So
I'm good with all those.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to talk about those rather than, this lackluster build to Survivor Series.
Right. It's always going to be lackluster. So
yeah,
like I said, we've been pretty much doing that anyway because of our schedules we've had and what we've got to watch and what we haven't got to watch. So and me, honestly, I want to talk about New Japan more too on this show. Again, I didn't tell you about that, but especially New Japan, especially with the ROH technically going out of business, I'd like to get some other stuff on besides just AEW and
NXT and Raw and SmackDown. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, so I'm definitely into it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if the Rewind is the greatest brand. We'll see if, it's going to be the transition of the content is obviously going to, start today officially. Whether we keep the name The Rewind or not, we'll see. I think it still works, but me and RN, we'll discuss that more behind the scenes. But yeah, so that's pretty much the announcement, is just that the weekly recap format, it wasn't working. And then not to mention hearing about Monday Night Raw, the same, last week's Monday Night Raw, the same day that a new Raw is about to premiere. I think honestly that's a reason for people to turn off the show immediately anyways. Why do you care about a show that happened a week ago? So yeah,
well, my thing feels like it gives us a little bit something different than what most shows do.
There's plenty of
said, our strong points is our opinions on things and not going, but don't get me wrong, I didn't care. I didn't mind doing the weekly recap, but I mean, like you said, our opinions, hashtag mute RN, Kai Tashi, you know what I'm saying? Our opinions are what kind of make this thing go. So
yeah, that's our dynamic.
On shrimps.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys want a good recap show to listen to, check out Smacking It Raw, similarly named. Matt Ritter, friend of the show. He already does this, and he does it on Friday nights. I think it's uploaded to Pornhub and YouTube and everything. That's got to sound so jarring if you're new to hearing about his show, but yeah, check out his recap show, man. Anyways, RN, obviously the biggest topic of the day is going to be Full Gear that just took place. You checked it out yesterday. I watched it live. You were saying that you found it mid at best or something along those lines.
Yeah, and like I said, I guess when people hear mid, they always think you mean bad. I don't mean bad. I mean, all the matches were good. I just don't think it was anything like normally I'm not the AEW guy, but every one of their pay-per-views, because they have so little, they always have something that stands out on it that you're we get a snippet of, or it's like something viral from every pay-per-view. And I'm being honest, like I don't think anything from that pay-per-view was that spectacular or that memorable. I mean, and everything kind of went how we thought it was going to go as well. So
yeah, I thought it was really, really heavy on fantastic wrestling. Like I thought the wrestling was great. Now I will criticize that a lot of the matches felt like they did go on too long. I felt like they a lot of matches kind of hit that crescendo where the crowd peaks, but then they push it another 5 or so minutes. And I really feel like that translated throughout the night, wearing out the crowd, of course, which they still all fully came alive for Hangman Page.
And that, like I said, a lot of it is just that they were trying to, which I'll give them way more credit for than any promotion that's out there. They listen to their fans. And that, I think that with the matches going a little bit longer and giving them a little bit more, I think because they have so few pay-per-views, I think that's kind of went hand in hand. So like I felt that too with some of the matches, but I wasn't really mad at it because, like I said, with them only doing 3 or 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year, they got to try kind of squeeze the juice as much as they can out of it.
Yeah.
So like that part, I actually give them credit for and give them a pass on. But some of them were like just a little too long. Like they could have cut 2 or 3 minutes really off of every match.
Just about every match. Yeah. The only one that really ended abruptly, I thought that was really kind of odd, was the tag team match between Lucha Bros and FTR. They had that weird spot at the end where they put Cash in the mask as the illegal man. He tried to steal a win, and then he just got pinned, and the match ended abruptly.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, they just put him like in a normal tag team move, and then it was over. Yeah. I kind of felt that way about the Eddie Kingston CM Punk match too. Like,
so that match seems to be divisive, man.
I don't know if I love the match and I love the storytelling, and like I love that it finally got people to boo CM Punk, because to me, like if you go back and check, CM Punk's one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers all time. I like heel Punk, even though not necessarily heel Punk, but tweener Punk. Like I hate this fucking toe to line company guy shit. Like don't get me wrong, I know why they have him doing it, because he's the best talker probably in their promotion. If you put a gun to anybody, say he probably is. Yeah. But that's not. If you want him to be a wrestler, then he needs to be a heel, or at least leaning towards heel. Now, if you want him to be the company guy, that's fine. Don't let him wrestle though. Make him a manager or something. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just said, what'd you think of the John Cena spot?
Yeah, like I said, everything about the match. I love the match. Like I don't think anything was. Like I said, I don't think any match was bad. They all were good. Like there wasn't a bad match. There wasn't even like really you know how they always get you with the cringy kind of overdone spots that they do, and everyone's like, I don't even think it was any of that. Even with the Jurassic Express and the Super Elite, like even the shit they did in that match, like that shit was way toned down compared to some of the other matches and some of the shit they done even on Dynamite. So like I felt like it was a good pace. Everything was good pace and good controlled chaos. You can tell they reined it in a little bit. Yeah, and I appreciate that. But like I said, I don't think. Nothing like, because all this, even like I said, even in the Super Elite and Jurassic Express, like we've seen all those spots before, the mouthful of thumbtacks and all that. Like I said, there was nothing that I thought really jumped out. Even like I hate to say, but even Hangman winning the belt, it felt anticlimactic because we knew that this should have happened a long time ago, and it kind of got fast tracked. So like I said, it wasn't nothing terrible. I just think it was all just like good. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Personally speaking, when I was watching the show, granted I was I had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
And that
I was about to say, how many cocktails have you had?
that helped loosen me up for it, man. I'm not gonna lie. So believe it or not, I was shockingly emotional to the end of the Inner Circle versus American Top Team, just for that Eddie Guerrero tribute.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho did like out of nowhere. Now, of course, we saw a lot of Eddie tributes and homages being paid because it was the anniversary of his passing.
I thought that's what I wasn't sure because, like I said, I watched it Sunday, so I wasn't. But I seen a lot of Eddie stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I think it was the 16th anniversary of his passing. But yeah, I don't know. Chris Jericho just caught me out of nowhere, and he won with a frog splash, surprisingly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But that match. I mean, other than that, the match was like all right for me. Seeing Junior Dos Santos as a longtime UFC fan do a standing moonsault, even though it was not the best, it kind of maybe him and Red Velvet can fight over
Right.
who does the sloppier.
Hey, those guys did a lot better than I thought they were going to do. I will give them credit for that. Those UFC guys, you can tell they took it serious.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't they were just like throw it away. Like we'll go out there and throw some fake punches. Like you can actually tell they took it serious and they tried to at least somewhat look like professional wrestlers. Like I said, it wasn't.
You could see several spots they had choreographed. Like they knew, right. Okay, it's time to do this. It's time. Like yeah.
The end with Dan and the kendo stick. Like he literally rolled fucking Jericho over to the kendo stick for like 5 minutes until Jericho got there. But like I said, I'm not that type of stuff. Like if it was actual wrestlers, I'd give a lot more. I'd probably throw a lot more shit at them, a little more dirt on them than I would. But being the fact that half of the participants in the match were not fucking wrestlers, like that type of stuff doesn't bother me at all.
You had 3 members of the American Top Team who were not wrestlers out of the 5.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like I'm not. I know everyone probably expected me to come out here and shit on it because I said it was mid. And like I said, mid does not mean bad. It just means that it wasn't like over the top great. Like I said, there was even that match. Like that match had every reason to be shit. Let's just be honest.
Oh yeah.
Like 3 guys that never wrestled before. To me, none of their chemistry really has added up or like got me on fire about this shit anyway. Like that match had every reason to be shit, and it wasn't. And Dan Lambert, he's fucking fired. Like I don't like if they need to figure out a way how to make him full time on TV as a manager or something. Like he gets it. Like he just does. Oh, but like I said, that match had every reason to be shit, and it wasn't. For what it was a good match. Especially like you said, 3 dudes never fucking wrestled before. And they're all old as shit on top of that. Like it was, you know what I'm saying? Like that match was way better than it had any reason to be.
No, I agree with you. Honestly, the only match that I was not into, which comes to no surprise, is Cody Rhodes' tag match with Pac, Malachi Black, and Andrade.
I don't even remember that match if I'm being 100% honest. Like I don't remember anything from that match.
Yeah. It was weirdly structured. It was they couldn't tag properly, so they would be angrily tagging, but then midway through the match, all of a sudden they were on the same page, and then towards the end of the match, they weren't like again.
He was getting his ass whooped, and he went over to the side, and Cody was like on the ground, like shaking his leg or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. And then all of a sudden FTR came out to beat up like Pac and Cody for a quick second. It was definitely just like stuck out like a sore thumb. And honestly, I don't even know what it added to the pay-per-view. That match could have easily just been on Dynamite for all it was.
Right.
Miro and Bryan were one of my most anticipated matches.
Yeah.
And man, that junk was stiff. That was stiff. The only thing is that I got to ask you is, how do you feel about Daniel Bryan? Of course, Hangman Page later in the night, everybody already knows, won the title, which was fantastic. How do you feel about Bryan Danielson, being his first opponent?
I mean, I'm not as mad at it as everyone else was. I mean, I'm like, the whole point of bringing him in was for this. Like, this is what he was here for. And let's be honest, I don't want to say the last few months they haven't misused Miro, but like they've grossly misused him and misbooked him for almost his entire run, besides the last probably 4 or 5 months since he got the TNT title. So like it doesn't bother me that much. Like Daniel Bryan's a star. He's probably technically the biggest star in your company if we're calling a spade. So like I don't mind him being hot shotted into the title. Like again, the face versus face stuff doesn't bother me whatsoever because it's like, in real life, sometimes good guys have to go against good guys. Like somebody's got to lose. Like it doesn't bother me in one fucking bit. So I just hope they don't make Hangman like go towards the heel side or Daniel Bryan really, because I think both of them are better as faces.
Yeah, I don't think the crowd is ready to boo Bryan Danielson. Although then again, I said the same thing before his heel run in WWE, and I fell in love with that. Right. Him being paired with Redbeard there. Yeah, we'll see. Jay Lethal debuted in AEW. Fantastic. I want to see him do the greatest hits, all his viral internet stuff.
Right.
The machismo. We need to have him another woo off with Ric Flair, or just give him like a month imitating Ric Flair.
I was really hoping Jonathan Gresham came with him.
You mentioned that too. Was it announced? Now, forgive me. I'm not. Now, of course, Ring of Honor is. It's looking like they're closing their doors.
They're like on a hiatus until I think it said maybe April of next year. But I know that they're still airing shows, so I feel like they've probably recorded stuff probably up to the first of the year. I would imagine, because like they're still putting out weekly shows.
Yeah. Ring of Honor is doing their Final Battle pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's normally December 18th or something like that.
I could be wrong. So I know is it Bandito is their champion?
Yes.
Is it Gresham that's challenging him for the title?
I believe it is, because I think he lost the Pure Championship. So most likely it probably is Gresham. I haven't caught. I'm like 2 weeks behind, so I don't know yet. I haven't watched it since. Yeah, I'm about 2 weeks behind.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm looking online right now. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. It does look like that. Yeah. Gresham looks like he's the one challenging Bandito at Final Battle, which, I'm not familiar with him, but from what I gather of the internet chatter and you guys, my friends and all, I think that's a great move. It sounds like it's a good move that nobody's going to be mad at.
Well, I mean, honestly, to me, Gresham's maybe top 2 or 3 wrestlers in the world. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, he's fucking dope. And what it is him and Jay Lethal, Tracy Hot Sauce Williams, and Rhett Titus, they have a group called The Foundation.
Okay.
But they're like strictly like about the pure wrestling title and like bringing that back to prominence and bringing the pure wrestling style, which ROH started, like back to the forefront of wrestling. Like, so like they're fucking dope. Like, I love them. Like, they are. It's kind of like a version of like Catch Point that Drew Gulak and them did in Evolve, and then like it's a hodgepodge of shit mixed together, but like it's weird, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, I love the good old fashioned like odd pairing that has like fantastic chemistry.
Right, and that's what it is. Like they don't match at all. Like, well, Lethal and Gresham kind of do it, like, and they were the tag champs and everything before this thing kind of started. But adding Hot Sauce Williams and Rhett Titus of all people is like, huh? But like, it fucking works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just works.
Lastly, going back to Full Gear, last thing, what do you think of the main event? How do you feel about Hangman Page finally winning the belt?
I mean, he should have been won it probably this summer, honestly, when he won the original title shot and everything. Like, and I understand why they kind of threw all that on the back burner and stuff. Well, really, I don't understand why.
He had a kid. He wanted to go home, be a dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he was. Yeah, he did have that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it should have happened. Like, he's their one and only true, like, homegrown star. Like,
yeah.
Like, I know he wrestled other places and he was in other places, but like,
he became a star. Didn't pick up until being the Elite and AEW.
Right. Yeah, he became a star in AEW, and I think that this was the perfect choice to have to me, he is their first actual homegrown star. Like, to me.
Yeah, I mean, to me too. It's funny looking back. I've been listening to one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. I don't listen to podcasts as much nowadays, but I used to all the time. Is Going in Raw with Steven Larson. And I remember back in the day them talking about Bullet Club well before AEW's inception, well before All In. And I remember them, whenever Bullet Club came into topic, it's hilarious because Hangman Page used to be listed like as the worst member, of Bullet Club. Yeah, he was like bottom. He was down there with like I think Bad Luck Valet and stuff. And it's crazy to think that arguably the worst member of Bullet Club is now one of the largest professional wrestling stars on the planet. And that's
you got to also think too, back then, what was he, 20 years old, 21 years old?
Super young.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that doesn't surprise me. And that's another thing too, the leaps and bounds that he's made in a 2 or 3 year span.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I'm happy for him. Did you ever see the Omega and Okada trilogy
Yeah.
and the story that came behind it?
Yes.
I like how closely Hangman's story mirrored Kenny Omega's story.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega falling out with the Bucks, you know, his friendship was kind of taking a hit. Finally got the belt, denies the belt to be reunited with his friends. Hangman Page denies the beer to be embraced by the Dark Order. There was a lot of similarities between their rises, and I thought that was awesome little Easter eggs.
And even Matt like giving him the okay, like not trying to stop him from doing the buckshot lariat, like all of that. Like the storytelling in the match was fucking phenomenal.
Matt had a tear in his eye.
Yeah.
That apology mattered, man. The Young Bucks wanted that apology. It paid off. Smart move, man. Smart move. So earlier in the week, I put out there on the show's Twitter, which if you want to follow the show on Twitter, it's at SmackedRawPod, or you can follow my personal Twitter at The Kai Tai Show. But over on the show's Twitter, I put out a question. Said, why do people still watch Raw? And like I said, it's not a dig at Raw. It's because Raw is often considered the most criticized professional wrestling show that's on weekly, and everybody, you know, it's whether they're bandwagoning or they're genuine, they like to dunk on it, you know. And so I put it out there. I said, you know what, go ahead. I said, be honest, you know, tell me, you know, why you still tune into Raw. And I'm not even gonna lie, I was shocked by how many people interacted. It may have been one of the most interacted tweets that our show has ever put out.
Facts.
Yeah. So really quick, I'm just looking it up now. I should have done my
Well, while you're doing that, the reason why I still watch Raw is because it's still I love wrestling, and I do love a lot of the guys on Raw. Like, and Raw hasn't been the best, no, but I feel like the last few months it has picked up the content, the wrestling has picked up all of it. Like, I have genuinely enjoyed watching Raw probably for the last like couple months, ever since Big E won the championship. I'd say was probably like the catalyst of it. That Raw, those first couple Raws leading into it before he cashed in. Like, and like I said, it's just brand loyalty for me. Like, I've been watching Raw literally since fucking the very first one. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to stop watching Raw. Like, doesn't matter how bad they get. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to stop watching it.
Yeah. Okay. So I have it here. My personal reason being is I always like joke, and I've always said the joke is it's like Stockholm syndrome at this point. You know what I mean? But yeah, for me it's largely habit, and I'm intrigued by, like, you know, something cool might happen. But let's take a look at here some of the replies I got here. So at Marie Shadows, great friend of the show, by the way. Give her a follow, subscribe to her Patreon. She says it's background noise. She says that's it. Plus, I want to see what the Raw superstars do, since I follow everyone's career to the best of my ability. If I need to finish up some content creation, any of the WWE programming should be good for that. So there you go. So Marie, she supports the wrestlers. She uses it to round out some of the content that she puts out into the world. And then, kind of like me, the background noise. It's comforting. It's something that we're used to. At 15-minute time limit, they said, I only watch their top 10s on YouTube. If there's a good match, I'll watch it. So he's not really watching it, but he still keeps up with the product.
Right.
Let's see here. At Carbon_Robert says, I watched it for Bray and Alexa. Alexa was the only thing I wanted to see, so I stopped watching it now. And I just catch up on here. So actually, a lot of people are saying that they've turned it off. Let's go. I should have ciphered through these. So I have a lot of people actually saying they don't watch it anymore. Okay, yeah. At Jimmy Bebe, he just plainly says he's still entertained by more stuff than than what he dislikes. So it's still more favorable than unfavorable. JJ Wren, who I think is still in the live chat, she says, I have no interest in it. The retweets I see are enough. Oh, wait, JJ, you don't watch the show? God dang it. All right. I'm not even going to go into Matt Ritter's reply. If you want to...
No, let's hear that horse shit. Let's hear it. Let's trounce it on air.
Why not? No. It's silly, but you know how Matt is. So she says, I got no interest in it. The retweets I see are enough. Every so often, I'll look at it on Hulu. The last time I watched live, Miz was still in the wheelchair. Dang, it's been a minute.
Sheesh.
And he was being squirted with the dripstick by Damian Priest. I said nope. And of course, Matt, having a Pornhub show, says, are you anti-squirting? And at that point, Mr. Warren Hayes turned his notifications off. Young King Wrestling was not happy they were tagged in the post. So Matt Ritter causing a fuss over there. Ozzy, let me see, what's your handle? Lucian, yeah. Says, big meaty men slapping meat. Background noise, supporting my favorite wrestlers, common theme. And sometimes it gets so bad it's entertainingly funny. So there's somebody who can laugh at the ridiculous booking and storytelling that Raw puts on.
I'll be honest, a lot of it is social media has just ruined everything for us.
Yeah. No, you're
the
right.
Backstage
you're not
stuff,
wrong.
the dirt sheets, all of that. Like these same people, like I don't know if any of you ever actually went back and watched some of those old Raws.
Yeah.
They were fucking disgusting.
Oh,
besides the racial and sexism and just flat out just terrible shit that they said and done, there wasn't a lot of really good wrestling either. Like we like to fantasize and put the old WWE's pussy on a pedestal, but in reality, that shit was terrible.
Yeah.
Like hindsight's always 20/20. It's always easy to Monday morning quarterback, but really go back and watch some of those fucking things.
For every awesome moment the Attitude Era had, there was a lot of terrible moments.
Yeah,
it's not too far different than nowadays. Granted, I will say one thing the Attitude Era didn't struggle with, and that's the 3 hours.
That's true.
Just as quickly as they got in, they got out. And
I will give out that is a arguing point that I will give validity to anybody on, because that, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of times I don't make that third hour. I'm done by 10:20, 10:30, and I watch the last part of it when I wake up the next day. So like that part I will give you.
And sometimes that's when their best content is.
It happens, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They need to start taking notes from Rampage and just put their best shit on in that opening hour. You know what I mean? Start off with your best stuff and then give us like
your highest rating and keep it moving.
Yeah. Keep going back to the replies. At Too Sweet Pod, background noise, common theme here.
What the fuck are they doing while they're having Raw play in the background? Like what the hell are you doing?
When I say background noise, what I mean is I'll turn it on
and you're not paying
I'll
attention.
be watching it and then playing on my phone. Sometimes I won't even look at the TV,
right?
But I'm trying to at least listen in on it,
Right.
Because God knows it can't keep my attention for 3 hours straight. Let's see. At awesome_Jason. Oh, wow. What an easy and pretty good Twitter handle. Becky Lynch is must see. Super King of Bros is great. So you got fans of Becky and Matt Riddle there. Someone else says kind of like what I said earlier. I was like, because of my podcast, I try to keep up with it. Another couple people said they don't. Oh, here we go. So this is a good one. At Cold 2K says, I take it as an escape from the everyday downer stuff in the world. Is it great quality like it used to be? No, but sitcoms and other shows still have normal day life stuff in them, so that's not as much of an escape as WWE's product. So that's a pretty interesting way to look at it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like wrestling has always been my escape. Like I think that's why I never really stopped watching it compared to most people our age, where everyone has that gap where they stopped and then when they started back. Like I never had a gap, because it was always an escape for me to not think about shit that I have going on, because what better way to forget about your life than watch two sweaty men in their underwear, roll around on the ground together.
That's fantastic. At Donald Gold KY. This will be the last one I read off because they all kind of blend together.
Right.
I'm invested in the talent. Every now and then there's a great moment, but it mostly blows. So this seems to be the common theme. A lot of people support the wrestlers.
Yep.
A lot of people hold out hope something cool happens. And there genuinely are people that are still entertained by the product that is put out. Most of them agree that there's a lot of bad content to cipher through to get to that good stuff. But what I do not see here, and I think this is something to take note, I don't have a single reply in here that says they actually watch it for the wrestling. That there's not a single person in here, and that shows kind of where WWE's priorities are.
Right.
And like I said, this isn't necessarily meant to be. This is just an observation that I'm placing. Is there's a lot of support for the talent because let's face it, Raw and then WWE in general has probably the most talented wrestling roster on the planet
By far.
But they're being utilized in many different areas outside of the actual wrestling. Which is just an interesting observation, but a lot of people supporting the wrestlers, and that's good to hear. All right. Let's transition, man. While I'm moving over to our next topic, I think it's a good chance to take a break and just say, hey, if you guys want to support the show, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/SmackedRawPodcast. You can subscribe to support the show. We have many low-costing tiers with great benefits, including shout-outs, stickers. If you have anything that you like to plug, we'll go ahead and support your brand on air for a month straight. We even have T-shirts, not in stock, but I'll create them on demand. For the subscription as well. So check out patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. And then we also have a PayPal, paypal.me/SmackDrawPod. If you're just like one of those crazy people that wants to just hop in our PayPal, give us a couple bucks because you like the show, we would appreciate that as well. And it doesn't go in our pockets, believe me. It all goes right back into this product. Oh man. So let's go back over to Bama's topics, man. And the first one, sticking with Raw, I guess. This last week, Kevin Owens tried to convince everybody that he was remorseful, that he was out of character for trying to pin Big E. During his match later that night, Big E got in his way and caused Kevin Owens to get counted out, and he turns and destroys Big E. A lot of people saying, man, he's either heel, he's not heel. Ren, what's your take on this?
I don't think that was a heel thing, even though I know he's probably gonna be heel. Like that wasn't heel. So you fucking cost me a match. Like I don't understand why people always get upset when things like that happen. Like bro, like this is my livelihood. I get paid for this. You cost me a win. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
Yeah. If he's not a heel, WWE is using Kevin Owens' character pretty good because he's a complex individual and there's layers to his morality. WWE's normal booking, though, is he beat up Big E. He's a bad guy. I will say this. He's probably not a heel. I bet they're giving him a little bit more freedom with the storytelling. Conspiracy theory is that, his contract is up in January. So WWE, just like they did with Cesaro when he hadn't re-signed yet, all of a sudden Cesaro was in a title picture. He was facing Roman Reigns. He signed that contract right back down the ladder. We very well could be seeing the same thing with Kevin Owens. They'll give him a push. They'll give him some funner stuff to do creatively. And then we'll truly see what happens in January.
I know we always use the grossly underused thing for every wrestler in WWE, but like if there's anyone that is grossly underused, especially the last maybe 2 years, it's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, man. Dude, he was a fantastic Universal Champion.
Yeah.
Fantastic. His program.
And that was how many years ago?
I know.
That was 5 years ago.
It was forever, man. It feels it. His program with Chris Jericho, the Festival of Friendship. Dude, people were saying that they were calling the Festival of Friendship, he was a heel that turned heel.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? He was already a bad guy and became more of a bad guy. Like, you don't see that.
Like, don't get me wrong. I understand Seth is their guy, and Seth should be the guy.
Yeah.
And actually, he's probably my favorite wrestler there right now. But Kevin Owens can be just as good as Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Really better, honestly, because he can be a babyface. And we all know that Seth is terrible at being a babyface. But
Jesus, he's insufferable.
They should either be working together or they should be on separate shows because they could both be your top heel in the company.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're not wrong, man. Kevin Owens, when you let him do what he can do, there's such a underlying intensity
right
to his mannerisms, to his character that just make him just seem so unhinged, and it's fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. Not to mention, he might be top 5 on the mic in the world, not just in WWE. Like. In all of wrestling, his mic skills are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I recently went back to that soundbite where he told off Shane McMahon famously. We actually used the soundbite for our podcast that day too. But yeah, there was a soundbite that he did telling off Shane McMahon and running through all the underutilized wrestlers and stuff. It was fantastic, man. It was so captivating. Some other people that might be getting told off here soon, Tommaso Champa and Johnny Gargano. Okay, so NXT 2.0 does not want older guys in their 30s that made their names on the indie scene. You can see it clear as day with their roster and their booking decisions. And these two old bastards, Champa and Gargano, are what they call their legacy wrestlers. How long do you think till they're phased out? I fully believe they're being phased out. These guys are not long for NXT, in my opinion.
I used to think that until they're still fucking chugging along. Like, and my thing is too, like, these are clearly Triple H's top guys. Yeah. Like, clearly. And I think that was baked in. Like, everyone else, all right, fuck, you can get rid of everybody else, but I need Ciampa and Gargano. Because think about all his other guys, since he's been sick and away, they literally burned his fucking building to the ground.
Oh man, they just came in. It's like when, you go off to college, and you come back to your house 6 months later and your parents have like cleaned out your room.
Turned your room to a workout room or like a something or some shit. Literally.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they did to NXT, and the only 2 survivors so far has been Ciampa and Gargano. So
I forget where I hear this from. I wish I could actually source this quote, but so we'll just leave it as a rumor. Take it with a pinch of salt. But they were referred to as legacy NXT stars to help the fan base transition from old NXT to new NXT. Now I don't know how much they're going to help when there's such a shock to the overall aesthetics of the show and everything else. But, I mean, I do get that it's like, okay, you don't like everything that's going on, but you'll stay tuned in for these 2 stories, the Gargano story, the Ciampa story, and hopefully you'll like what's going on with Toxic Attraction or what's going on with Braun Breaker and all these other people. So I get the concept, but when you're saying you're using these people to transition your fans, that doesn't sound like it's a permanent role. That sounds like you're there to do a job, and once that job is done, out the door.
Yeah, but have we actually heard someone from WWE say that, or is that just from one of the dirt sheets?
Yeah, like I said, dirt sheet. This dirt sheet bullshit.
Like, yeah, because like I said, I fully like when Breaker didn't win the championship. That's when how I thought about it flipped, because I just thought like, well, this is the last nail on the coffin. Getting the title off Ciampa and getting Breaker in there. Like, this is the last night. And then when that didn't happen, I even said that, like, you know how I feel. I'm not a Braun Breaker guy like everybody else. Like, I didn't think he's ready. I still don't think he's ready. And I hate that old school WCW yelling after every fucking move shit. Like, I think it's trash. but it was like, if you're going to do it, you got to rip the Band-Aid off completely and just move it forward with it. And they didn't. Like, and even I said they should, and I'm totally against it. And I said
I was there for it day one. That triple threat that he stormed, he just steamrolled through. Help me out here, I'm blanking.
Fucking LA Knight.
LA Knight, yeah, should have done it night 1, the debut episode.
Yeah. Right, like I said, it's I don't. That's why I'm saying I think Triple H was like, all right, You got to at least give me these two guys. If you're gonna throw all these dudes that ain't never done shit, can barely fucking do anything in the ring, I at least need my two best ring technicians from the old shit to help me get through this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I say you give them a send off, one final match between the two, last man standing match, blood feud.
I think you give them a DIY run.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, DIY would be great. I loved them as a tag team. It's crazy to think that their tag team formation was just the Dusty Classic, because I wasn't aware of that. And so when I saw them wrestling, I was like, oh man, these guys must have been tag team partners like in the indies, and because their chemistry would just seemed like they've been partners forever. Yeah, it's amazing to me that they were just a hodgepodge for that tournament.
They were all friends, but also like Ciampa's always been a heel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. Right, that just shows how new I was to NXT. Right. All right, sticking with the NXT theme of things. Lately, we've had Adam Cole cross over to AEW. We've had Bobby Fish. There's the rumors that Kyle O'Reilly's contract is now coming up. And, of course, that's the first place everyone's mind goes is to AEW, either to reform Redragon or a little unofficial Undisputed Era reuniting. Art, how do you feel about the trying to just retread the NXT faction? Or I'm assuming the Redragon was more of like a Ring of Honor.
It's Red Dragon, and they were everything. They were everywhere.
Red Dragon, Redragon. My bad. It's Steven Larson have ruined me. They give.
Well, they write it kind of weird anyway. They do like the capital R and then lowercase e, then capital D. Like, yeah, it's weird.
It's kind of how like Katie does the She Leap podcast.
Right.
Yeah, that thing threw me off.
No, I'm all right with it. Like I said, a lot of it is like, I know the WWE, all of them snatching up WWE guys. Like, I know that's an argument, and that people want to get behind that argument just to shit on AEW. But like, here's my thing, and we talk about all the time. There's only one fucking company in the game. So where else are you supposed to get these fucking wrestlers from if you don't get them from WWE? Because AEW raped all the independents, and WWE raped them before AEW did. So there's nowhere else to get wrestlers besides WWE. So how can you get mad when a company signs guys from that company? Like, that never made sense to me at fucking all.
I think my main question is, do we feel that there should be a reuniting of the faction?
Absolutely. That the biggest thing in NXT for the last 4 years was fucking the Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era, yeah.
And Adam Cole. Like, I mean, I guess we just forget about that Survivor Series he completely took over the weekend. Like that, those aren't accidental things that happen. He's a fucking star, and he was propped up because he had a dope faction behind him. And we saw when he left what all those guys were really made of. They weren't able to handle it or sustain it without a star to revolve around. Roderick, not so much, because Roddy's just a fucking beast no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think, and now he has
Diamond Mine.
Now he has, what's his name, Malcolm Bivens speaking for him. So like that's his weak point. He don't have to. So he has somebody that can do it, handling that part, and so he can just be dope in the ring. But the rest of y'all, like I told y'all, Kyle O'Reilly is not a star. I told y'all before that happened.
You called it, man. When everybody was going on that bandwagon, you were like,
when everybody was jumping on, I was I'll catch the next one.
You say you want it. Wait till you get it.
I told y'all. As soon as I saw him come out in that fucking straw hat, strutting and shit, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I knew that, like, and you know how I knew that? Because all those other promotions knew that too and showed us. That's why he was always in the tag team, except when he was fighting against Adam Cole. When he's not fighting against Adam Cole, he's not a good singles wrestler.
I do feel he should have still got that belt, at least for like a transition.
No, I don't think he should have at all. Like he proved it. Like he could not sustain it. He still can't sustain it. Like I said, he is a tag team wrestler, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes guys are just better at tag teams. Like it's just the thing. Like it's like not everybody can excel. Not everybody can be the top guy. So, and I told y'all. I told all y'all. I told y'all.
Oh, you're not wrong, man. Yeah, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him do something. I don't like I said, I'm not paid to book matches or stories, but there's definitely legs there to reunite them for sure.
And AEW has 4,000 fucking.
They already have all
now.
the factions.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I'm
they
not,
already
like,
have all of them.
Right. Like if they didn't have 10 factions, 11 factions already, and they just brought Undisputed Era over to start it, like I'm like, all right, yeah, that's kind of whack. But they're our version of New Japan. Like everybody is in a fucking faction. There isn't. Miro's probably like the only dude that's not a part of a faction.
Best Friends just hopped in a New Japan faction. Best Friends just started joining.
They kind of already were. Trent and them already has been a part of Chaos like before. But like, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's where the model came from, was Japan. So like, I'm not mad at that. Like, you need factions, you need tag teams. Fuck it. If you get Red Dragon on that roster together, like that's fucking dope. That's a Red Dragon versus Lucha Bros. Like I would throw money at that match. Like even now, even though they're older and shit, and Bobby Fish will probably be injured before the match is over.
That's true, man.
I'd still fucking pay to see that match.
Did you see his match with Jungle Boy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he can go. Man. He's just always hurt. Like a lot of that's what a lot of their issue was with that. And they always had to find a fucking replacement for him. But like it's not that he's a bad wrestler. He's just always he literally was hurt 95% of the time. He was
always out with something, man.
Always out with something.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. We'll revisit. I have to watch some more SmackDown before we talk about if Roman Reigns has more people than Drew McIntyre. Honestly,
yeah, I know. I got to start watching that more. Like I literally missed it. Friday, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm normally getting hammered fucking drunk on Friday nights.
On Friday nights, yeah.
Yeah, I miss that and Rampage almost every week.
See, I'm home at 3, so I always want to do stuff. You know, right. when Fridays come around. So I'll watch another episode of SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie. I missed the week before, and I watched SmackDown last week, and it was god awful, man.
And that's another thing too, about the Raw versus SmackDown talk. Like we only watch SmackDown for Roman Reigns. If you take Roman Reigns and the Bloodline storyline off of SmackDown, it's just as trash as Raw. Maybe worse than Raw, honestly.
Last week was a struggle to watch. I like I said, I changed the podcast. I watched SmackDown. I was like, dude, I can't do this no more. Like, I don't want to talk about this crap.
Threw everything off.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Really quick before we go, I just want to give a shout out to BamaDave. He's doing a show that I'm actually going to be on. Check Your Temperature. It's taking place tomorrow evening, I believe 9 p.m. Let me double check that.
9 p.m. Tuesdays is normally when it happens.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's the announcement. Where are you, Bama? Where did your tweet go, Bama? I guess he didn't share it in that group chat. But anyways, we're doing Check Your Temperature, which is Bama's take on a preview show for upcoming events. Of course, this is referring to Survivor Series. I have it here. Nikki is going to be back on from the Queen of the Ring podcast.
I'll be on the Takeover one.
Yeah, Tristan Law, professional wrestler. He'll be on again. He's revisiting it. And then, of course, I will be on. What we do is we're going to be Bama runs down the match card, and then we'll gauge our excitement level, based on if we're cold, warm, or hot for a match, and then kind of go into it. A little bit of a spoiler here. I'm probably going to crap on Survivor Series like the entire show. But maybe there's something.
Right.
Maybe there's something in there that I'll get excited for. But if I'm not into this pay-per-view, can you really blame me when the news reports are coming out that WWE didn't even care about it? They prioritized all their stuff for the Crown Jewel and the draft. And between the draft, Crown Jewel, and Survivor Series, that was the last thing they put their effort into. But we'll see. It's regardless of like our opinions, the dynamic of the show, Bama's like professionalism, he's fantastic guy to watch.
Professional wrestling podcaster.
Yeah, that's so definitely tune in tomorrow night, and it's not 9 p.m. It is 10 p.m. I forgot he doesn't like to go head to head with NXT anymore, so we do it. We're doing it at 10 o'clock Before we go, Square top 10. EJ just popped in the chat. EJ, sorry man that you're just missing out on the show, but thank you for coming by. Other than that, I guess we'll see you all next week. Yeah, that's it. Or stay tuned. Stay tuned for the Twitch. Follow us here. I will be gaming more on this. When we're not doing our podcast, I will be gaming. I just downloaded Forza. I got the Hot Wheels game, and I've been doing a bunch of stuff in VR, which is fantastic. I'm actually going to be downloading Resident Evil 4 in VR tonight and trying that out. So definitely check out our Twitch channel, not just for the podcast, but for the gaming content that's coming as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm into it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, like always, you guys, until next time, y'all have a good one.
See y'all next week.